dumbest thing you have ever argued about with a significant other? Even if it's not your current significant other, one of your exes, what is the dumbest argument you've ever had? Honestly, one of my relationships, there were so many, I truly can't even just say one. Always the dumbest argument. Y'all wouldn't even believe it. My partner and I have more than once had explosive arguments about whether or not Jerry Seinfeld is funny. He is a fan, I am not. Tears have been shed on both sides. This is very serious. This is one of the only things we ever fight about. That is so funny. Guys, let's have the debate right now in the comments, okay? Is Jerry Seinfeld funny? Fight, fight, fight! I will say this. Do I think Jerry Seinfeld is funny? Yes. All right, he's funny. However, Seinfeld is not funny. I said it. That is my opinion. I've seen some of his stand-up stuff that I actually like, oh, he's funny. But Seinfeld, I just never got into personally. I would fight anyone on this about Friends. I used to fight with an old coworker all the time because I'm a huge Friends fan and he was not. And he was like, I hate the show Friends. It's not funny. And I'm like, but hey, we all have our own taste, okay? So is Jerry Seinfeld funny? Let's fight this out in the comments. My ex was being an absolute child because he wanted takeout for tea and not the food I'd cooked. He was making a right performance over it, so I took the plate off him and threw the whole thing in the bin. Then when he went out to get takeout, he didn't take his key, so I went out too, so he had no way of getting back in and had to eat in his car. Prick. I understand why you'd take offense to that if you cooked a dinner and then someone came home and they're like, hey, actually, I don't want your food, I want takeout. Of course, you're gonna be like, well, I took the time and I cooked this meal for us. Can we do takeout another time? But he's probably thinking like, why don't we just put that in some Tupperware? We'll have it tomorrow and let's get some takeout tonight. So I get both sides, but it's different when you're in it. We just got married and got a bunch of kitchen stuff, including silverware. I don't like the spoons, so I brought over the ones I had at my parents' house. They're deeper and I just like them. Okay. Anytime I ask for a spoon, my husband always gives me the wrong ones. The ones we got for our wedding. Last night, I don't know why, it just irked me so much that I literally threw a tantrum and went into depth about how much I hate the new spoons and I only want to use my spoons from my parents' house. My husband stared at me and I ended up just going to sleep with no dinner because I was that mad about the spoons. We gotta work on that. I don't think anyone should be getting that angry over spoons, but enough to skip your own dinner? Ain't no way I'm not eating dinner over an argument. If I need a break, I will go in the other room with my dinner. Leave me alone. I don't care. I'll sit in the freaking bathtub and eat my dinner in peace if I have to. One time, my boyfriend went to Dunkin' Donuts and got me a coffee and nothing else. I can't have coffee. When I asked why he didn't get me a donut instead, he said, I don't know. We didn't talk for like a day and then he got me pizza and all was forgiven. I mean, that's kind of strange. You can't have coffee, but he got you coffee, but the intention was nice and it was there and he was trying to get you a coffee. So like, let's not ignore the intention was there, but you can't have coffee.
Details, mere details.
So that's a little confusing, but hey, you know what? It was a nice thing and you got pizza. Our first ever argument was about whether Diet Coke and Coke Zero have the same recipe. Do they? I've never thought of that in my life. And I've actually always wondered, that's so funny because I've always wondered, I'm like, what's the difference between a Diet Coke and a Coke Zero? I never actually took the time to look, so I'm gonna ask, is Diet Coke and Coke Zero the same? Coca-Cola Zero Sugar looks and tastes more like Coca-Cola Original, while Diet Coke has a different blend of flavors, which gives it a lighter taste. I mean, a quick Google could have solved this argument, you guys. Me and my boyfriend hardly ever argue, maybe once a year at most, but recently we got really heated over whether an actress on TV had good cheekbones or just good contouring. So random. I was team cheekbones. He was team contour. We never got strayed from the topic and we both got so angry. It was beyond irrational. Sometimes arguments are. In the moment though, it truly feels so real. Like that emotion and that weight feels so heavy. It's like, no, this actually does matter. And I really do care. And then when you look back, you're like, that was so dumb. But when you're in it, it's a different story. It's kind of like you see red, you know, and you're in the battlefield. During the first year of us dating, we fought about pineapple juice and whether it should be refrigerated or not. We argued for so long that we almost broke up over it, you guys. We were about to go on a 4-day camping trip with each other, and I remember thinking, oh my God, do I want to be stuck with this person alone in the wilderness for 4 days? Thankfully, we didn't break up and have been together for 5 years. We now make it a point to just let the small things go. Okay, yeah, it's not worth it to prove a point that doesn't matter to begin with, you guys. Okay, yeah, we're not breaking up over pineapple juice, and if you are, then I think there's some deeper issues here. Also, I think, doesn't fruit juice have to be refrigerated once you open it? And it would taste better in my opinion. Like, I don't like warm beverages. My water, I don't like warm water. I don't even like room temperature water. So like juice, ooh, I would want that cold. Let's debate this though. Speaking of pineapple on pizza. How do you feel about it? I am on team pineapple on pizza. Are you kidding me? A good Hawaiian slice of pizza with ham and pineapple? Yum! What team are you on? A cup. An actual cup. It was an argument about who put it on the table. This argument has lasted 20 years. I understand this one quite literally because you're like, no, but I didn't put the cup there and I know you put the cup there. And then that person is saying the same thing, but in your mind you're like, no, you're delusional. You put the cup there and I want you to admit that you put the cup there. Yeah, that's a vicious cycle. My ex tried to argue that seatbelts weren't safe and shouldn't be worn. Whoa. Because they can cut you in half if worn wrong. Once I realized he wasn't joking and truly believed seatbelts were dangerous, we had a legitimate argument about it. Well, that's understandable. I couldn't rise above the stupidity of what he was saying. No, I can understand why this would lead to an argument, especially because you're like, well, here's my thought process.
Riveting.
I'm annoyed because how dumb that is, number one. So I'm already annoyed. 2, I would be worried about him not wearing a seatbelt then if he doesn't believe in them because I love you and I want you to wear a freaking seatbelt. So that would also annoy me. And 3, God forbid in the future, you know, you guys have kids, things like that. I'd be like, so is our child not using a seatbelt because you don't believe like that? I can understand why this would lead to something bigger. I'm concerned. I was given a pepper mill by my boss. My significant other thought it was silly that they would take pepper and form it into little balls just for people to grind up again.
He's on to us, Alfred.
He did not believe me that peppercorns are a thing. And the pepper one typically buys in a grocery store is ground up. Oh boy, bless him. Yes. Also the same like coffee beans. You can buy coffee in their bean form, but you can also buy coffee in the ground up form. It's pretty much a great example, in my opinion. Pretty much the same thing. Our one and only fight was during lockdown when he had done a food shop and I was unpacking and he didn't pick me up any peppers, which I put in everything even though it was on the list. I asked him where the peppers were and he said he must have forgotten them. I was moping about it and he started to make fun of me for being annoyed. Oh, which then resulted in us having to sit in separate rooms because I was grumpy and he kept trying to diffuse it by making light of the situation, which made it worse. It's funny now though, plus he's never forgotten peppers again. It's like telling someone to calm down when they're not calm, or when someone is very heated about whatever and you're like, just relax. I'm telling you, in the history of human nature, no one has relaxed by you telling them to relax when they're not relaxed. It's a fact. It's an absolute fact. You tell me to calm down or relax when I'm at my wit's end and red fury, Satan just comes over me, takes my soul. My husband is not a fan of spoilers of any kind when it comes to TV series. I, on the other hand, love them and like watching teasers for episodes, but usually make sure to watch them alone. Last week, we were catching up on Insecure, and at the end of the episode, as he is well aware of, they show a 30-second teaser for the next episode. He sits there watching it with me before he realizes what's going on, freaks out, and then closes the laptop and says, "Why would you let me watch that?" Wouldn't talk to me for the rest of the night, lol. If you have this with a significant other, like you guys watch shows together or this, like that is very important. People get very upset. Like if you're watching a show with your partner and they watch it without you, it actually feels like a sense of betrayal. It truly does. You didn't wait for me. This is our show. Like you gotta make a pact with that person and then you trust in that pact. So when it's broken, where's the love? In a hypothetical where my boyfriend was permanently turned into a goldfish, I said I might eventually move on. That was a mistake I'm still paying for. Oh, if Matt was a goldfish, I would put him in a little jar and keep him forever. Till death do us part, babe. But he doesn't need to know that. That's like the trend on TikTok where girlfriends were asking their boyfriends, what if I turned into a worm? Would you still love me? The most recent was about which one of us spilled a drink off the end table and onto the couch. I swear he kicked my drink off the table and he swears I moved a pillow that knocked it. I got so heated, I ended up going to a girlfriend's house that night, and when I got home the next morning, the argument continued. Oh my gosh, damn, that's really serious. Like, at the end of the day, it spilled. How it spilled doesn't matter. But it's hard to see clearly through fury. Well, let me know the dumbest thing you have ever argued with someone about, you guys, okay? I'm out of here though. Stay classy out there. Stay sassy. I'll see you tomorrow.